What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today I've got another video for you. This time we're on Dueling Book, looking at a really cool deck idea that I kind of got an idea from when I saw what was it? I want to say an MCO 40 video where he was just kind of like previewing a list that had made, I think, like top 16 at an online event. So nothing like crazy, but I really like the idea of the deck, and it was kind of just like this Spellcaster MISH-MASH deck, mix and match deck, whatever you want to call it, where you pretty much just take some of the like best spellcaster engines we've gotten over the years and just kind of like throw them in together, because there really is some solid synergy there. And I love that idea that you can just take anything spellcaster that's like a decent engine and kind of just like press it all together and actually get something that's pretty competent, and you have like extenders on extenders, and you make it happen. So yeah, I'm gonna go through this list that I put together for you. Keep in mind I haven't done a ton of testing with this just yet, but it's just an idea, and I wanted to throw it out there for you. So this is all just like a theoretical thing, and I'll also bring up some other things as well, as far as what's not in the list that I think could be something in the list that's up to personal preference, because there's so many engines, so many different things that like it's really up to the individual building the deck on like what routes they want to go and card choices and stuff like that. So basically, getting into the deck profile, we'll start off with the basics. 3 Spellbook, Magician, and Prophecy. Spellbooks just generally have like pretty nice, like just generic spellcaster support cards, and he's just a solid normal summon as well. If his effect triggered on special summon, he would be so much better in the deck. I kid you not. But he doesn't, so it is what it is. But still a good card nonetheless. Still one of your best normal summons. You also have 3 copies of Riliona, the Magistus of Vare. She's really cool as well. She's also a Stratos type card. Like, look at this. This is what they did with spellcasters. You've got a Stratos, and a Stratos that summons itself out of the hand. It's insane. Like, actually, these engines are so crazy. And there's others too I don't even have in there that we'll get to. So Riliona is just great. The only target I'm playing at the moment is the Magistus Vritra. I wanted to try and play something else, but we'll talk about that as we get to like the extra stuff at the end. Dogmatica Ecclesia is also another card here, just so easy to get into, especially with the new card Artemis, just so any level 4 lore spellcaster gets you into an extra deck monster, which then allows Ecclesia to extend you, which is very, very insane. You also have the 2 Fleur-de-Lis, 2 because we are playing Magician Souls, as well as the 1 Dogmatica Maximus. That way you'd still have Maximus and Fleur-de-Lis to go through your combo while still having like a Fleur-de-Lis in deck to be able to use Magician Souls effects, so you kind of get to do it all, which is pretty cool. And it's just better for grinding, just having another one in the deck to be able to go into if you need it. Then the Magician Souls, like I said, this card's like really, 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 really strong. I mean, it's an extender while also sending one of these to grave, which could also be, extra advantage down the line. Because is it Ecclesia? Hold on. Hold on. If this card, come on. I'm pretty sure Ecclesia is the one. Add a mana card from your deck to your hand. Oh no, is it Nadir Servant then? Is Nadir Servant the one that? Okay, yeah, Nadir Servant can add from deck or graveyard to hand, which is insane. So, yeah. Magician Soul is just insane, though. It lets you draw cards as an extender. It sends you a card. It does everything. If you have any dead spellbook cards in hand, or you drew the Schism and you know you're not going to get to that part of your engine, boom, just trade it in for some new cards. Very, very nice. Unbricks weird hands. Then for the hand traps, just 3 action, 3 ghost spell. I mean, they make a lot of sense. Like, they're just basic. Ghost spell could also be Skullmeister if you want. It does negate Ben 10, which can matter. Can be slightly better in certain matchups like Drytron, but this Bell's still decent versus the deck for sure. And then for the spells, okay, we've got 3 Spellbook of Secrets. This is super explanatory. It's Spellcaster deck. We want to search if we can. 3 of this. 3 Spellbook of Knowledge. Your whole deck is just like targets for this, and you have so many Spellcaster extenders. This card is insane. You just go into like souls, like you just summon souls, send souls for this. Just draw 2 cards. You just cycle through your deck. 2 Spellbook of Fate. I really like Spellbook of Fate. It's a really, really nice card in the deck. One thing I will say is I wish it was slightly easier to set up. Sometimes you can have such hands where you're just like, I can get to Fate, but I can't get to Fate. That's live for the Banish effect. And a lot of times you'll be able to get the Book of Moon effect that's non-targeting. Still very strong, but I would say overall it's not quite as strong as the non-targeting Vanish, but it is what it is. You know, you got to make do with what you got, but it's really good. I play 2 just for the grind game. Like I said, play so many spellbook cards. A lot of times you end up with another spellbook card in hand to be able to use on the following turn, so he's nice for that. Spellbook of Eternity for recursion, Spellbook of the Master for recursion, and being able to use something like Fate or any of these other cards more than once per turn, which is really good. 1 Spellbook of Life. Spellbook of Life reborns any spellcaster engrave, just so you know. So if you can get it set up, this is actually a pretty cool extender later on. You could reborn something like Maximus, and then just Maximus starts sending some things, get some pops, get some searches, whatever you want. Go from there. It's very good. And then 1 Spellbook of Wisdom. This is just a cool card. You don't have to play this one, but it's kind of like if you want extra board, if you want to like add to your board a little bit, once you have Fate, you don't need a second Fate, right? Like you don't need it like at all. And you can only activate 1 per turn. So like the second one doesn't do anything, but at least Wisdom allows you to potentially play through like at least like, I don't know, versus like something like Back Row. If your opponent has something like Lightning Storm, you can at least make it so that like an Ecclesia survives. That way your Fleur-de-Lis is guaranteed to like still get a disruption and stuff like that. So it can come up. It's a cool utility card. I don't know. It's fine. Then obviously the 3 Nadir Servant. It's the most powerful card in your deck, I would say. Overall, I think if you could open a 1-card hand, you would want this card in your hand, hands down. 1 Vritra. You could also look at the spells. I think the other spells are like actually all have utility, but I just felt like none of them were like good enough on their own to search off of Riliona to really just feel like, wow, I gotta play that. None of them just felt quite that good. So I'm just playing this so that you can go like Riliona, like normal summon Riliona, search this, link Riliona off for Artemis, then reborn the Riliona with the Vritra, and then be able to make either a link 2. You could equip the Artemis to search another Riliona. You probably won't summon it that turn, but it'd give you follow-up. And then you'd want like other extenders from there to really get you into the play you're actually looking for. So overall, it's pretty decent. Then you have the Instant Fusion. This is just a really cool extender. There's a couple other things. You could throw something like Monster Reborn in the deck, which is just a pretty nice extender, especially like again if Spellbook Magician of Prophecy could search on special summon, Monster Reborn is an absolute must-have, because you could just like as a follow-up play reborn Riliona, reborn Ecclesia, and just get searches, get pluses. And that's still good. Reborn Souls, send some things, draw some cards. Blue Void's the only thing it doesn't look, it's not that great on, but still I think Reborn's definitely a card to consider. But Instant Fusion is really cool because you can go into either Thousand Eyes Restrict or Millennium Eyes Restrict off of it. So you can either like go into this and it's essentially like a Called by the Grave that's also kind of an extender, or you go into Thousand Eyes and it's just a card that helps you break a board going second, but also can just be a body that gets you into Artemis without normal summoning, which is really nice actually, because you go like you make Artemis, then you normal summon, and then like a Riliona, and then Artemis can just equip to Riliona to search something else. Obviously, I'm not playing other targets, but that's just something to consider. We're going to talk about that. Like, there's so many extra things you can consider. You could make the deck a 60-card deck if you wanted. I wouldn't advise it because you have like such powerful starters like Secrets, Blue Boy, like your normal summons, your Secrets, Nadir Servant's the best card in your deck. I kind of want to play 40 just because I want to see that card at all costs if I can. So yeah, but still a really cool card, has a lot of good synergy. It does take up extra slots though, so definitely something to consider if you have a tighter extra deck there. One Should All Schism, this is self-explanatory. I mean, this is the power of playing Maximus, and if you're playing the all-out Spellcaster version with the Dogmatica stuff, you want to have access to it. It's just so strong there. And then the 2 punishments. I like 2 because, again, like being able to grind, this deck is not super, like the strong suit of this deck is not putting a ton of damage on the board in one turn, but this allows you to stay in the game there, which is really nice. Then for the extra deck, we'll slide this up real quick. 2 copies of Artemis. You want more than one because you'll probably use one almost every turn 1, and then you might need a second one. 1 Anima because you have the Magician's Souls specifically. There, it's just really cool to be able to link off for him and then punish your opponent for using awkward zones. Or you could do it with the Thousand Eyes or Millennium Eyes. Double Crowley, the first Prophecyr. That card's actually insane. I love that card so much. This card's actually really cool. So just gets you a search essentially for any spell book, and then technically you can like tribute Fleur-de-Lis for like 1 less tribute, right? Oh, without tributing at all. Okay, so you could just like normal summon a Fleur-de-Lis or a Maximus. Maximus is actually pretty cool. You could just normal summon a Maximus on the next turn. It's pretty crazy. 1 Daybreaker, the Shining Magic Warrior. He's kind of a cool spellcaster tech link. He gets a spell counter on summon, and then every time a spellcaster is summoned to his zone, he'll get another counter, and then you can just remove 2 counters to target a card on the field and destroy it. So the longer he's on the field, the more he'll be able to just pop cards over and over again, which is kind of cool. Then you have Selene. Selene's like insane in the deck. It just can reborn any spellcaster during either player's turn. So just reborning Riliona or like Ecclesia and just getting like searches on searches is really, really awesome. Or reborning like a Maximus later on and just sending Intises to like clear a board, then push for a ton of damage. A lot of good stuff going on with Selene. I like her a lot. Then for the Shadal stuff, obviously the Window, the Apkalon, and the Construct. The 2 copies of Untis just for Nadir's Servant and for Maximus, just so that when you get to send things, hopefully you're sending good things. Oh, as well as punishment as well. Getting the double pops is nice as well. Then obviously the 1000 and the Millennium Eyes. The one thing I did forget to throw in here was the, there we go, Ash Dragon. There we go, forgot about him. Titanic Clad. Just in case, like if you want to send him off punishment to get the search, or you want to send him off Maximus, I guess, to be able to get that recursion play, can be very, very nice. So that's it for like the actual stuff that I have in the list right now. Like I said, guys, I haven't done a ton of testing just yet. I'm just trying to throw the idea out there, and I want to hear from you guys what you think could be missing from the list. Like what's like, what can we add in that like actually would make it better or whatever. Definitely want to hear your thoughts on that. But a bunch of stuff that we are missing that I didn't want to talk about. Stuff like Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk's kind of low-key cool. Like look at how many spells we play. We could just pitch a spell, then just like summon either an Ecclesia or Riliona straight out of the deck and just like search, get a search, so you make up for the card you discarded immediately, and actually go +1 off of it. It's super weak to hand traps, don't get me wrong, but still an interesting card. Jester Confid's just a cool spellcaster extender. It's kind of just like Magician's Souls, but like way worse. But if you just needed extenders on extenders for your type of list, he's cool to keep in mind. The whole invoked package, so that's one thing that you could look at and be like, John, you're missing the whole invoked package. Yeah, and I feel that. I just felt like if I played the invoke stuff, I feel like I'd want to cut something else here because I'd have too many normal summons. And I think the biggest thing there would just be, I'd be looking at it and I'd be like, oh, I'm just playing like Dogma Invoked. I'm just playing Dogmatica Invoked right now. That's all I'm doing. So still a really cool engine. Still something I would consider because it is just like a 1-card negation with follow-up, which is very strong, but I don't know. I'd have to think on it. The generator package is kind of cool because you could just play the field spell and then it just allows you to turbo out Har. Now, you do have to play Har, and he's just a big old brick. Big old brick. But, you know, it could be worse. 100% it could be worse. It is like one of those field spells that if you use it and you don't need it anymore, you could Magician Souls it away, draw some more cards, you know what I mean? So it's not the end of the world. I think this is like actually pretty fine. So I don't know, something I consider. It's a negate plus like a hand rip, which is pretty strong for 1 card. There's stuff like Trick Clown is another card because if you just played like the Riliona, you could add in the Trismegistus, which just summons any level 4 spellcaster from the hand. So you'd be able to just go like this, search the Trismegistus, use the Trismegistus to special the Trick Clown, link them off, Trick Clown summons himself back, and you just got like a 2-card Selene off of that, which is not the best thing in the entire world, but it's definitely not bad. So it's kind of cool. He just gives you like extra link fodder essentially. Then you have the other like Magistus monsters that are pretty cool. You have this guy, the Extender, and you also have the other card. I do like this guy because he is like I believe he's a 1-card totally Bahamut Toad play. So I like that it almost has the same feeling as like the Alistair play. It's just 1 card, take your normal summon, but it gets you to a negate. Okay, well this gets you to a negate as well, which is kind of cool. And you could play the Spell Power Mastery card because he is also a Endymion card, so that's very cool to keep in mind. Crowley's just an extender. You just have to send a Spellcaster from hand or field to summon itself, and then he can change his attribute. Okay, kind of cool with like Invoked or the Crowley play. Or not the Crowley play, the Bahamut Toad play, because he can make himself water. It's kind of cool. Then you have these Trismegistus. It's continuous, which is really cool. So every single turn you can do this. They're just special level 4 Spellcaster from the hand. Pretty good overall. It just doesn't help you get Spellbook out of the hand or Magician's Souls, and Ecclesia summons herself. So you kind of got a couple things working here right now. It only really gets Riliona out of the hand, but still could be a card to consider. Magistus Theurgy is pretty cool. The only problem with this card is if you want to play this card, you kind of want utility with it, so you'd have to play like at least 1 or 2 of the other Magistus extra deck monsters to really make this card like come up all the time, to be able to use it in different ways, and that's kind of a bummer in my opinion. I don't know. Still a cool card though, for sure. Then you have Invocation. That's definitely one I considered trying to play 1 of in here, just so that you have so many extenders that all you need was like another Spellcaster, and you can still just make the Iwas, the fusion for Magistus, and so that would also make it a little bit easier, a little bit nicer for Riliona, that opening her in any other Spellcaster does just get you to a disruption, like a Snatch Steal kind of effect, quick effect on your opponent's turn, which is actually pretty strong. So, like, I don't know, something I considered. I almost want to play 1 copy, maybe drop Instant Fusion or something, or just play it. I mean, I'm not too, like, crazy on just saying, like, we can't go over 40. You know, going a couple cards over is fine by me. And then you have the rest of the extract monsters. I took out Iwas before, just because I was stupid and forgot what I was doing. But, yeah, so these are really cool. Like I said, if you play this, you definitely play Iwas. The Ninaruru is just like kind of like back row removal, and then this guy allows you to kill certain monsters, which is kind of cool, but nothing crazy there. I think Iwas is definitely the most legitimate one, and there's probably other things too. I mean, I kind of skimmed the Spellcaster stuff, so there's definitely probably other stuff I didn't even have here. Village of the Spellcasters. I mean, that's a huge side deck card. Like, how many decks just can't even play without spells? I guess a couple, but like, there still are those matchups where you're just like, activate this. Oh, 3 cards in your hand are dead. Cool. I just neutralized 3 cards in your hand with 1 card. Not half bad. But yeah, I don't know. This is just an off the cuff video that I wanted to just roll with. It's something I've been looking at, and I've been just like theorizing with it and thinking hard about it. I built it online also because budget reasons. Like, gotta keep in mind, and I hate this. I hate that the Dogmatica part is the most important part in the deck. Like, literally take out the Dogmatica stuff, and it takes away most of your extendability. And without extendability, you're just playing a bunch of normal summons, so you just lose to like 1 hand trap no matter what it is. Outside of like Magician's Souls. And so that's kind of a bummer. 100%. I'm with you on that. Hopefully at some point we'll get some reprints, maybe bring down the price of some of the Dogmatica cards or something. I don't know. I hate that, and Magician's Souls is also super expensive, but we're getting more and more of those what is it, the Legendary Duelist like reprint sets, so hopefully that can help with Magician's Souls a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's a really cool idea, and that's all it is to me. And I just wanted to hear your guys' thoughts. I wanted to throw it at you. This is my list for right now. It's nothing too spicy, I would say, at the moment, and I'm sure there is some other spice. I just want to hear from you guys and hopefully get some ideas on how we could change up the list, maybe make it slightly more budgety, or just have to accept that you got to play the Souls and you got to play the Dogmatica stuff, because if you're not, your deck just loses to 1 disruption, and that's god-awful in 2020. So I'm going to leave it off there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like I said like multiple times in the video, leave your thoughts down below. If there's other Spellcaster cards that I'm not including here, or one of the ones I showed you that aren't in here, let me know what you think, and put your thoughts behind it, why you think I should play certain things if I'm not here. And I really want to build this in the future. I just gotta, like I said, get some Dogmatica stuff and get some Magician Souls as well. So we'll see, but you know, it takes some shmoney. But yeah, we'll do what we can. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.